The Illuminate, an enemy of Super Earth's past. They have no mercy and have the innate ability to phase through every damn building ever built, making it a pain in the ass to fucking shoot these mother son of a bitch. The Illuminate faction has had a dodgy reputation in the Helldivers community. Since their arrival on Calypso back mid-December of last year, the squids have faced some major criticisms. The biggest issue that people had initially with the faction was that they got quite repetitive quite quickly. After the allure of the new urban environments and the fact that it's a returning foe from Super Earth's past, everyone started to notice that they had a very small roster. If we compare the initial cast of enemies for the Illuminate, we have 5 guys, one of which is a flying variant of an already existing force that they already have. So should they be considered? And then you have another one, which really isn't a direct enemy, but mostly just how they respawn. So the Illuminate only had 3 to 4 standard enemies to fight. The bots and bugs greatly overshadow the Illuminate forces, even if we remove their newer enemies and sub-factions. Both still have way more variety in comparison. It took 6 months for the addition of 4 new enemies for the faction, with the Heart of Democracy update, which also brought in megacities. My beloved, one step closer to fighting in New Mombasa. We had a new heavy enemy with the Flesh Mob, another variant of the Overseer with the Crescent Overseer. The Stingray fills in their flying gunship spot, and Leviathans are their factory / Bile Titan equivalent. So the faction was complete for launch. The Illuminates still lack variety in their forces. The new add-ons only now give them the standard amount of enemies they should have had since launch. The Voteless haven't had any new variants or changes to make their horde fights any more tense. And the same goes for Harvesters. So, viewer, I came up with 4 more enemies for the squids to expand their ranks and add some more variety to their fights. While looking at roles that the squid enemies filled, I noticed that some of the enemies are almost in-betweens of certain classes rather than just one-to-one copies of other roles. So I focus on making my guys the middle void between certain already existing enemies. So let's start off with a light class enemy, Pests. I can't talk, I'm sorry. These little guys are the in-between of Watchers and the Voteless. Lore-wise, Pests are the species which is harvested by the squids to create their nifty little armor. They spawn around objectives latched onto walls of buildings and around spawners. They can fly for a short amount of time, which allows them to fly directly over crowds of Voteless to get to the player. These guys have around the same amount of health as Voteless, but don't spawn as much, as that could get really annoying real fast. And I'm not trying to replace the Voteless, I'm just trying to create a different light enemy. I based their design off shrimp and flying fish. The Illuminate enemies all have very fishy inspiration for their designs, which I try to incorporate into the other enemies that I made. I wanted to add in an enemy that also goes further into their lore, as Helldivers hasn't really gone into that much. The past game does a pretty good job at giving us an idea, but we really haven't learned much from that point. What do they eat? Where do they or how do they make tools? Anything in general, we don't know much. So I wanted to create an enemy that just adds a little bit more to our knowledge of the Illuminate. The next one is the Expelled. If you dare go on the Helldivers subreddit, you might have seen this guy for like a low second. Interesting place. This guy was the first I designed, as I feel like this is a serious no-brainer for Arrowhead. I'm definitely not the first person to come with like a similar idea as this. Focusing more on the body horror of the Voteless and Flesh Mobs, the Expelled is the in-between of Votelesses and Overseers. The Illuminate work off mind manipulation, so their first move was to have players kill their mutated bodies of civilians with the Voteless. So now we've moved on to their next move, killing your own men. For gameplay, these guys had their arm merged with their own gun, now spliced with Illuminate technology to give them that extra kick. They shoot fast but weak shots rather than the Overseer's high damage blasts. They are much taller than Voteless, which makes them an easier target when they're in a crowd. However, they are much faster than Voteless, so they will be able to close that range a lot quicker, and even then, They have their lovely ranged attack to add more supporting fire during big fights. A nice little add-on I want these guys to have is the ability to repeat voice lines from Helldivers. This not only makes them much scarier in the world and also gameplay, it makes players more cautious of their environment, paying more attention to their surroundings. I wanted this guy to be almost a mix of the unknown from Dead by Daylight and the Flood from Halo. I wanted something to be generally kind of scary on their own, and I think that really works. I think that really fits with the themes of the Illuminate. I based their design off the Flood. I'm a big Halo guy. I don't know if you know that. I'm a big Halo fan. Oh my god, ODST. One gimmick I thought about including for them was, depending on the amount of damage that the player has to their body when they die, they will transform into one of these guys after death. Did I steal this idea from the Flood? Maybe. Is it a cool idea? The biggest issue I see with this is having to remodel the enemy for every single armor type, which seems like a lot of work for a mechanic that doesn't really seem too important. Next is an Overseer variant, the Centurion. I noticed while researching the Squid's design that their soldiers have golden accents in their armor. So I thought to expand on the idea that the Illuminate culture isn't too far away from our own. For higher class soldiers in their society, they are given more golden trims to signify their status around other soldiers. The Centurion is the highest class of an Overseer. They have dropped their staff for an energy sword, which is attached to the back of their head. They've had a smaller device that Harvesters use to create their infinite shield implanted into their own hand. The Overseer class uses it to create a fine point blade able to slice through the strongest materials. This makes them a melee focused enemy, so for compensation they are given a shield with medium penetration. It only covers the center of mass, making their legs and heads weak spots. I want to avoid giving them the shield bubble, as that would be very annoying very quickly, as they are still chaff enemies. I based their shield off seashells, making sure to include the aquatic vibe. I looked at Halo Elites for inspiration with their whole energy blades, but I chose to make it need a steady supply of energy to keep it functioning, as it fits more into the world of Helldivers. Every weapon has a drawback, even our own. This will also demonstrate how versatile the Illuminate technology is. One moment you can have an infinite supply for a shield, or you can have a blade that can slice through practically anything. Final enemy is the in-between of Harvesters and Leviathans. Cannonback. This is definitely one of the names I'm not the proudest on. I couldn't think of anything. I asked the Helldivers community and their official Discord, like, hey, can I get some help? And I didn't really get much either. I'm glad that you guys were able to like give me stuff though. It's better than nothing. Like I had no idea what I was gonna call this guy. Anyway, Cannonbacks are the Squid's equivalent to tanks. They walk slower but are much more durable than Harvesters. They fire projectiles like Leviathans, but they are much stronger. However, the drawback for the increased damage is that it takes a longer time to charge up, and it's a longer waiting period between shots. These guys can become huge blockades if they spawn in city streets. Just like every other heavy enemy though, they are quite easy to kill once you know what you're doing. These guys are covered in tank armor except for their joints and their lower stomach, which are light penetration, as well as their inner leg armor, which is medium penetration. If you want to lower the damage, increase the weight between shots even more, shoot the blue glowing vents on the side of the gun. If you want to kill it though, throw grenades directly underneath its stomach. If you run out of grenades, you can simply dive underneath and start shooting into its stomach. Just try not to get squashed. By its design, you can probably tell I took inspiration from Turtles. Looking back at the design now, I'd probably change the face a bit more to seem more alien, as it does look more turtle-y than I want it to. I initially wanted to do an enemy that was closer to Victor Jozek's enemy concept, the Colony. I don't think I said your name right, bro. I'm so sorry. Is it Jozek? I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of the guy's work. It's so cool. He was the one who came up with the Centurion name. You've been thank for the help, man. This is cool. I love his enemy designs. They're quite great. I feel like any of his ideas could work for this faction, as they all focus on the different aspects of the Illuminate. And of course, they just look cool. Go follow the guy on like anything. It's sick. I'll put like a link in the description. Go follow him. He's sick as hell. And that is all the ideas for enemies I have at this moment for the Illuminate. I wanted to show how dynamic their enemies can be. Enemies like the Expelled and the Cannonback can also, most importantly, lower the spawn rate for flesh mobs and leviathans, making missions a lot more fun. The number of times I've had a flesh mob silently appear out of thin air without making a damn noise is insane. I don't want people to think I'm hating on Arrowhead, but it is a fair criticism. The Illuminate has the potential to be a fun faction. I love their imagery of seeing an entire street full of voteless, making it feel like I'm playing World War Z. It reminds me of playing Left 4 Dead with my friends, but with Helldivers. I get to throw bombs and lasers. I'm still playing, and I'm still enjoying all their cool new stuff that they have. Reload! Get out of there!
Going down a sentry. Requesting order.
We gotta move. Yes, the standard ODST experience. And I can do that with more friends now because they just, from the recording of this, they added Xbox players, which is fun. All I want from them is to make sure that each faction is being used to its full potential and nothing is getting wasted. The Illuminate have so much potential for enemy roster and anything, mission types, environments. They have a lot of freedom. I don't just want an overseer with like a new gun. I want an enemy that on its own demonstrates what's going on in their society. Something interesting. Be it how, like I said, they show that there's a class system in them. Show that there's a whole new group, anything. I understand that, you know, the voteless are just cannon fodder. It would be cool if we had a different version though. You've got exploding bombs scattered about. Why don't you just stick one of those in a voteless? That seems like a bigger no-brainer. I love you, Arrowhead. You keep up the good work though. Love you, buddy. You get a chocolate bar. If you want to see my art while I'm still making it, or you have any ideas for future videos, I suggest you join the Discord. You're welcome to share your own art. Doesn't need to be Helldivers. Just be nice to each other. Don't say anything crazy or anything. That's all I ask for you guys. Speaking of future videos, the next video is gonna be a little bit different. Let's say while we were shooting for the stars, we might be looking for some stars. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.